Welcome, Izzy, to the Unfiltered Female. Thank you so much. It is 9:30, so this is what we have to do. Working mothers, this is putting the kiddies to bed. This is how we roll, and this is what we do. There's no excuses. So thank you, Izzy, so much for joining us. Loads of questions to ask tonight. But really for me, I just want to sort of provide some context a little bit, because there's a version of career advice that sounds really nice and great on LinkedIn. And then there's a version that actually survives and exists in the real workplace. So why I've invited Izzy, the incredible Izzy, better known online as the official Corporate Agony Aunt. You've built this great audience by really saying the things most people in corporate environments think, but really don't say out loud. And really, you're touching subjects and areas such, from office politics and burnout to promotions, job switching, confidence, boundaries, ambition. You've become known for this in my opinion, like this brutally honest, no nonsense approach to career advice, especially for women navigating the modern workplace today. Because obviously, despite women obviously being more ambitious, educated, and professionally visible than ever before, I'd say, so many are still asking the same questions. Why do I feel stuck? Why am I overperforming and not being recognized? How do I know when it's time to leave a job? How do you succeed at work without burning yourself out in the process? So all of these recurring questions. So in this conversation, what I'm trying to do is really unpack those hidden rules nobody really teaches us about work, the realities of that modern ambition, and the tension, we'll touch on it slightly, but that tension between career and motherhood. And the career mistakes women are really still making without realizing it. So hopefully, Izzy, you can be like, I'm going to give you the unofficial corporate playbook of how to handle these situations. So Izzy, welcome to the Unfiltered Female.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
To get right into it, because there's loads to get through. And what I've done is very different to the other conversations. What I've done is I've just spent some time researching and just getting some insights on those questions that women are Googling and searching for at the moment, because obviously there's a need for answers. So the person to give us those answers, the Corporate Agony Aunt herself. So we'll firstly touch on sort of the general temperature checking at the moment. What I'm feeling from the vibe is that women are, as I said, more educated, they're ambitious and visible than ever, yet we're just getting this feeling of the exhausted, underpaid, invisible, or in some cases just stuck. Why do you think, Izzy, that's actually happened? Sort of that general feeling of women, just of this complete exhaustion.
I think it's multifactorial, but if you was to just isolate our home lives away from our work lives, the mental load of our home lives is so great. Whether you are single, in a relationship, in a dual income partnership with no children, married with children, it doesn't really matter what your home dynamic is, but the mental load of that has soared astronomically. Let's couple that with the internet and the information overload that we experience every single day. The sheer volume of touch points that we might experience before we've even got to work has astronomically soared. And then on top of that, at work, we're fed with more feedback than ever, whether we want it or not. We're constantly being hit in the face with the rhetoric around AI taking our jobs and uncertainty and redundancy, that really we don't have any culture of psychological safety around us in a corporate context. And so we're constantly fed fear and having to sort of perform at our best level all of the time, relentlessly, always on, just to maintain our job, just to retain the job that we've got, never mind to perform and progress and to enjoy our work. So I think the baseline has been ripped out from us.
Yeah, I think as a build to that, do you think there's a bias towards women, how we're feeling in comparison to men?
I'd hate to speak for men, so I think their experience is different in the workforce. I hate to speak to men and for men, I'm only joking. But I think we do experience different things just from a primary social caring responsibilities perspective. Women's experience in the workforce is different, and we're not seen in the same way still in the workforce as men are. So I'd argue they have it easier from a corporate perspective.
Because we are, whether we like it or not, we're still attached to that primary caregiver.
Yeah.
When nursery rings, it's mama that they ring, and I'm like, not now.
Or even in my experience, when your parents need help or your siblings need help, if you're the daughter or the eldest daughter, there's responsibility far beyond your immediate descendants.
In your opinion, what are women misunderstanding most about corporate success? And I reference women because obviously that's our audience.
I think the misunderstanding comes from what is defined as corporate success. I think we've been conditioned to think it's titles, pay rises, the right car that gets us to the right job. But in actual fact, a corporate definition of success is just your own definition of success. So for years, like, I thought that success was an upwards trajectory to the position of CEO until I stopped and realised I don't think that's really what I want. Maybe one day, but right now that's not where I'm heading. That's not what I want. I care about the freedom of time and enjoying my work and enjoying the people around me. I think it's just being really clear about what your definition of corporate success is. That's the misconception, and the comparison trope, the comparison as a thief of joy, really holds us back from finding out what we actually want for ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. I've actually got an episode about coming up with a woman that's saying, not everyone starts a company some do, but some don't start a company to scale globally and to
Yeah,
exit
it's a
X
lifestyle
million.
decision. Yeah.
It's a lifestyle, get some time back, have that balance,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really, really important that we try and shift that whole narrative around what does that success look like. Another also, all these are questions of highly Googled. So what
Mm-hmm.
truths about work do people only learn the hard way?
Sadly, I think around who you can trust and how close our relationship is with the people next to us. So, like, a lot of the time we mistake proximity with the person sat at the same table or the same desk as friendship, immediate friendship, maybe trauma bond over how much you hate your job. But in actual fact, that is a friendship or a relationship of convenience, and that doesn't necessarily reflect how that relationship would withhold the outside world. And I think we lean into things with great intention. We maybe overshare, and we realise the hard way that in actual fact everyone's out for themselves. I am, you are, we have to look after ourselves. It's gorgeous that we want to bring people along with us, but fundamentally we've got bills to pay, mouths to feed. And if you get a bit of information from someone that you can leverage to your advantage or to their disadvantage, even if you're ruthless, then people are going to act on that. So I think the thing that we learnt the hardest way, and that I've certainly learnt the hardest way, is that I'm an oversharer and I need to pull it back and figure out who I can and can't trust, and largely separate my work persona from my home persona, even if that person resonates with the other one.
Because I can really resonate with that on a personal level. So very much can relate to that.
Are.
What advice sounds good on LinkedIn, but categorically fails in real life, in your opinion?
I'm a diehard LinkedIn girly. I love LinkedIn. I owe my career and the safety I feel in my career to LinkedIn. So, like, I can't stress enough how important of a tool it is. There is no competition. There is just LinkedIn. Like, spend your time on it. It's free. With that being said, I think the drivel comes from people spouting advice about how to build your personal brand, your professional brand. And that advice is coming from founders who are not employed as employees, or senior leaders who have the creative freedom, if you will, or the art or the magic to be able to post kind of whatever they want. And I think a large part of what I've been doing for years now is tiptoeing the line of what is an acceptable personal brand as an employee. So I think a lot of the advice you see out there about being really contrarian or really inflammatory, that's not sage advice if you're an employee and you have to toe the line of the professional brand, of the house style, of the house rules, of the social media policy. So I think be wary of people that are selling you LinkedIn advice from a perspective of a founder to founder, because that's not for you.
Because I'm a real LinkedIn girl as well, but I just see more and more of just like, that is rubbish. I was playing Monopoly with my children at the weekend. And it's like, no, you weren't. You weren't thinking in a corporate setting how these principles and values. You weren't. You weren't. Just be honest.
Bluey. We all were. We were all watching Bluey.
Exactly. What do, in your opinion, Izzy, ambitious women secretly feel ashamed to admit? Really ambitious women. What are they not so overtly communicating or showcasing, and they feel ashamed to admit?
Some of the most ambitious women I know are ashamed to admit how ambitious they are, which sounds contradictory, and they're so confident and audacious and qualified and beautiful and amazing. But the idea of saying out loud that I am an ambitious, hungry, maybe money motivated, progression motivated person, that it's like contradictory, but it seems dirty and it seems unsexy and it seems unfeminine. So in answer to your question, like, it's literally that the most confident women I know, the most successful, ambitious women I know, are afraid to just say out loud with their chest how successful they are.
Yeah. Do you see a shift in that? Because I'm seeing a little bit, because obviously we had the Gutsy CEO last week and she was like, look, And she's all about, I want to make money. I want to make money. Like, I want a
Yeah.
nice lifestyle. I work really hard. You know, you can help and you can have purpose and you can have impact, but you can also want to make a shit ton of money as well. Would
Hmm.
you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that the more we normalise conversations around money and ambition, the easier and more accessible they become. So thinking of a really recent example, but like Emma Green has just been on a book tour and been really outspoken
Yep.
about what she believes in and about enjoying her work. She's not afraid to say she enjoys her work. She doesn't mind to be away from the family
Yep.
that she's providing for to enjoy her work. And I think the more that we can have a narrative like that, as much as it can be contrarian and polarizing and feel a bit extreme, the more that
Mhm.
people will come out of the woodwork and say, oh, I really like working. I enjoy my work. I don't have mum guilt. I look forward to it, you know?
My thing is, you can feel two things at once. Like,
100%.
do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be having to choose. Like, I really want to be a good mum, but I really want to invest in my career and my potential and see how far I can get. You
Hmm.
can have both.
Hmm. Let me just
Like,
tell
you
you,
can feel both.
today I had a low mood as I was driving in, and I was thinking to myself, I feel guilty that I'm not at home being a mum right now. But then when I'm at home being a mum, I feel guilty that I'm not pursuing
Yeah.
my ambition in the way that I deserve and should to deliver the life that I want for my children. So at that point, you're feeling guilt all the time, and you can never not feel
Yeah.
guilty. So that's when I give my head a wobble and think, what's the point? Because I'm going to do these things anyway, so there's no point crucifying myself.
Right, I want to quickly get on the hidden, what I've called the hidden rules nobody teaches you. So, and there's a couple of categories: visibility, on bosses, on office politics. I'm just going to like quick round. So, on visibility, because I know that's you talk about visibility a lot, Izzy, on your. Why do some people get promoted while harder workers stay invisible?
In corporate life, perception is reality, and people don't like to admit that just because you've got a high input, it doesn't necessarily output in the way you want it to. So, like, we have been told for years to work hard and keep our head down, and
Yeah.
that is actually not a representation of who gets promoted. That's what your boss wants you to do so that they continue to look good and maintain their position, if I'm being completely honest. So what we have to realize is that actually visibility gets rewarded, not empty visibility, not just for the sake of it. People mistake shouting from the rooftops about what you're passionate
Mhm.
about shouting about nothing. That's not the case. It's being strategic with the stuff that you're doing, making sure people know that the results that you've put your name to are your results, owning them. You're doing the work anyway, Joe. Like, you may as well just brand it as your own. And it's just putting
Yeah.
your hand up to say, well, I did that. I did this. What about this? How can we improve that? And people think it's
Sure.
crass and it's quite contradictory to British culture. We're meant to be like reserved and
Yeah.
polite and not speak too highly of ourselves. But let me tell you, the upper echelons of society are speaking highly of themselves, and that's how they are there. So if we want to navigate the same spaces, we
Yeah.
have to learn to talk about our
Promote the wins.
results and promote our wins. Yeah.
Yeah. I think obviously promoting the wins, like visibility from a wins, but it's that, is there an argument in a case to be like just this visibility of problem solving, team player, collaborative. The wins are an obvious one
Yeah.
because that's great, but is there a visibility to be like, even if it's not your problem, be like, I had a similar problem, let me have a look at that, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
The easiest thing you can consider when it comes to your own self-promotion strategy, your own personal brand strategy, is how can I help others? Rather than thinking at yourself, the ego at the middle of it, thinking about how can I
Yeah.
shine a spotlight on Joe, who's doing great work over here? Let me advocate for her, because that immediately demonstrates what kind of person that I am. How can I connect Joe to someone else in my network who might have a mutual benefit to meeting one another? Like, that is all building and compounding
Yes.
over time to build this perception of you as a sort of super connector. And that's how I
Yeah.
position myself. It doesn't all
Yeah.
have to be me, I,
Exactly.
self. Yeah.
So, what actually, in your opinion, then creates this influence at work?
I think it's the opposite of people pleasing. So people would think that creating influence and getting people to like you is a popularity contest based on the fact of being agreeable and accessible and never having healthy confrontation. In actual fact, what's underrated is being really, really easy to work with in a world full of people that are hard to work with, and
Mhm.
and being that person that's willing to sort of put the neck on the line and have a bit of healthy
Yeah.
conflict or confrontation for the best, to better the business or to better the team that you're in. So I think there's a misconception there around like what it is to have influence and what it is to be well liked. Those are two different things. I would say I've had significant influence throughout my career since my mid-20s. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm liked by everyone, nor do I try to be. I want to create impact. I want to have meaningful impact in my career. And that
Mhm.
isn't about just being a good girl all the time.
So what's the difference then between being valuable and being visible then?
I think a valuable person works hard and keeps their head down. They're an asset to the company because they just trudge on, maybe for longer than they should, in the position that they should. Maybe they're even underpaid as a result of that. They're underutilized, if nothing else. And so they are just valuable to the business, but they're not visible in a way that helps them create more value for themselves. I just think that's the difference. Like, visibility is the thing that gets you as an individual further along in your career. Value is what keeps you in place and keeps you working hard and makes you hard to replace. Like, that's not the position that, like, corporates rely on you be valuable because that's what they pay you for. That's a baseline. Visibility is the thing that puts you above the rest. And I think that's the thing that we have to invest in individually. It's not our company's responsibility. It's not our manager's responsibility. It's ours.
I mean, because when did we, like you were saying, you touched on before, when did we get into this that we couldn't share success? Like,
know.
you know, the wins and like when did, because I love, and it's not even from as I said, from an ego and self-centric perspective. It's like, we've just delivered this project, it's delivered these results, it's moved the dial in this respect, and this is now moving forward, it's going to open doors and this. And I don't know when it became like, oh God, look, because again, I've had that happen to me, like Izzy, from a personal perspective. I'm like, who does she think she is?
Yeah, I get it all the time, every day.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I think
and it's like, hold on, because I would celebrate 100%. I would be front row cheerleading you doing that as well.
Yeah. People project their own insecurities, don't they? And that is just like very apparent in society today. And the internet makes that really easy because it's like you're accessing someone's success and you're able to like shit on them while they're doing well. But I always just think, and I hate a cliche quote, but I have never been criticized by someone doing more than me. So it is the people that are like not wanting to pursue what you're pursuing that are going to say, well, I wouldn't do it like that. Like, ooh, she gives me the ick, she's cringy, she's putting herself out. I don't care about those people, Joe. They don't pay my bills. They don't pay for my holidays. They don't pay for the beautiful life that I'm building. So honestly, I pay them no mind. And I just wish more women had that same audacity, because that comes really naturally to me. I literally don't care. I literally don't care.
Love it. Be more audacious. Do not care about those people who don't inspire you, who are, I don't want to say beneath you, but they're not operating at a level.
Same space. Yeah.
It's so true. Office politics. Well, this could be a whole subject on its own. Can women succeed without playing politics? Like playing the...
No, because the game's happening. You can abstain from it. And you can maybe do all right and you can maybe get by. But when I talk about office politics, people think that means participating in idle gossip, in empty meanness, in shitting on other people to get to where you want. That is not what I mean. Office politics is just about understanding who are the actual influences within the business. So you've got an organogram, you've got a hierarchy, right? That's beautiful. But who are the people that have sway? Who are the people whose advocacy and allyship could really help you and amplify in your career? And I think understanding that office politics is not about being negative or mean or bullying or anything like that. It's simply about listening, observing, saying the right things in front of the right people, getting the results that you need in order to get on. We all have to participate, because abstaining from it just holds us back. I really believe that.
Yeah. And that doesn't, because people might go, oh God, how manipulative, or how, again, those negative.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's, oh God, she's playing the game. And it's like, there's this negative stereotype attached to it. So I think there needs to be some perception change around.
100%.
I mean,
it might be.
Yeah, it needs a rebrand, because it's not politics. It's not playing the game. It's just trying to advance in your career, be better. Yeah, that's all we're trying to do.
It's human nature. Like, you do it in the playground at school, you do it in the canteen at secondary school and college and sixth form, you do it in the playground when you're looking as the mum, and it's human nature, it's hierarchy, it's pecking order, it's social listening, and it's just part of daily life. Like, just own it.
Again, we need to do that rebrand. We touched on burnout, boundaries and ambition slightly before us. We're hearing the word burnout loads at the moment. It's like stressed out, especially with the working landscape as it is at the moment. As we said, people making redundancies. It's tough out there. There's no new hires coming in. The work's being absorbed, and people, as I said, stressed, and burnout word is flying around. What does burnout actually look like before people realise they're burned out? What does that actually look like?
I worry that the word burnout it's burning me out, the word burnout, I'll be honest, because I think it's a really subjective interpretation of what that means. Because me and my friends say that quite candidly. And for some people, it's like on the verge of a sincere, really bad mental breakdown. So it's like, I hate the word, it's too broad. I think we really
Yeah.
need to get better at pinpointing what we're actually feeling. I think like early warning signs or red flags, if you will, are just like you checking in with yourself and asking yourself like how you are actually feeling on any
Yeah.
given day. One thing is that not every day is going to be a great day, so it's not just having a one bad day and calling it burnout, which I do think we can be guilty of doing. It's thinking on any given week over the course of a month, how am I feeling largely about my work? Am I cancelling on my friends or my family because I'm too exhausted once I get home? Am I neglecting what I eat and how I exercise? It's all these factors at work leading to a lower quality of life outside of work. They're the flags you need to pay attention to. But be careful to get sucked in by the negativity that we can wrap around, because I feel exhausted. I have never felt more tired in my entire life. I have 2 young children under 2. I sleep maybe 3 hours a night at most, and I'm doing the most. And it'd be very easy for me to label this feeling as burnout, but I'm just tired. I'm just tired. And it's like, please try and itemize your feelings, because it becomes really hard once you have a narrative. And to be clear, I know that people are really going through it, and I'm not talking about those people. We enter into burnout in stages. Check in with yourself, be honest with yourself, label your feelings as soon as possible. Don't let it linger for so long that it becomes such a big crescendo.
Everyone can have a bad day and like, right, move on. Tomorrow's a new day. But I just think that regular check-in with yourself, because I'm guilty of it. I will take on the world. I'm like, I want to do that project and I want to give that to me. I want it. I want it. I want it. And I'm probably my own worst enemy. And obviously when my name's attached to it as well, I'm like, I'm going to do it to this level. Like there's no standard or mediocrity going on here. So I think, when you apply that amount of pressure to yourself as well, I don't think that helps either. Like I'm my own worst enemy. Like my dad passed away even a couple of weeks ago, and it was the business saying you need time off. Like you need time off. And I'm just like, no, I need to get back. And so I'm just being mindful all the time. Is he just constantly checking in with myself,
Yeah, you have your own way, but you have to be accountable to the fact that if it's not working, you have to be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Like, it's literally that.
Yes. Overperforming. You often talk about this notion of over delivering. When does hard work stop helping?
Hard work that's invisible isn't helpful. Hard work that you cannot evidence the results of is pointless, because if you're truly just working hard and there's no return on that investment and it's not actually yielding anything, then you're not working right. Like, work smart. I get a lot of stick for saying that the best thing you can do is dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And what I mean by that is like taking on the responsibilities of the role slightly up, or letting people deputise to you to demonstrate that you are responsible and capable. I think that is the way to get a promotion still, even though that people don't want to admit it. So you do have to strike the balance between hard work and smart work and acting up in order to get a promotion. But I think being really, really clear about like, I'm doing this really hard work over here. What's it even do for the business? Who's even noticing? Do I need to even be doing that? And again, just like sort of auditing your workload all the time and asking yourself which parts of your workload are serving you for the purpose of progression or promotion, and which parts are holding you back and could arguably be dropped or delegated. I think just being, again, constantly in check and mindful of the fact that you can get in your own way a lot of the time.
You touched on that a little bit. I love that. It's just such a simple advice. Dress for the job that you want, or like, as opposed to where you are. And again, you're going to get people, but it's true. Like, who does she think she is? Waltzing in here, taking on that job, going in those meetings. And it's like, you need to just cancel the noise out. If you want that, you need to demonstrate that you can do it confidently, like productively, like you can do it, or you can do it, and you're proving you can do it. You're not just saying you can do it.
In that scenario, you might get dragged by like a senior director might be like, oh, she's just walked in here and she thinks she owns a place. Like, even though they're superior to you from a hierarchical perspective, they're still projecting their own insecurity. So it's like, you kind of just have to like block out the noise. That's the only way you can get on.
But how do you manage relationships? Because you don't want to piss people off. So what would be your advice? Someone, again, senior, who may be threatened by the capability and the potential. How would you manage that?
My toxic trait is that I love to be underestimated. So if it's the matter of someone's thinking, she's not going to be good enough, like, let me cook, like, watch me absolutely make you eat your words. If it's the fact that someone feels threatened for their own position, I can understand that is an unnerving feeling. Tall poppy syndrome is real. There's only so many promotions to go around. Like, fair enough. But what I'm going to do is make you really understand my value and my magic and my beauty and my work, and like get you to come around to my way of thinking by being affable, by being approachable, by actually sincerely caring about what it is that you do with your work and what's finding challenging and what you're finding rewarding, and like getting to know you. And I find a lot of people misjudge me very early on because people say that I'm intimidating, but they're just intimidated. That's about them. It's about me. But what they realise after quite a short amount of time is that like I can talk the talk and I'll walk the walk, and I'm not willing to ask people to do things that I wouldn't do myself. And they often come unstuck. People say to me, Jo, I really didn't like you when you started, or I really didn't want you to get this job. And I'm like, thank you for letting me know.
Do you know what?
I'm glad you changed your mind.
I think, Izzy, I would want you on my team.
She's
shit hot. Like, I want her on my team because she's going to make me look fucking amazing. I don't want to be on the other side of it, you know? And I think but again, it's mindset and reframing.
You feel safe and capable, and that's why you want me. But like, if
I
you
want
don't,
Izzy on my team.
I'll joke.
God, what is this? What is this? So obviously there'll be women who are thinking career switching, career moving, reinvention. They're saying, a lot of late 30s and 40s, they are just having, I hate that word, midlife crisis. It's just, they have changed perspectives, maybe life trauma. They're like, what am I fucking doing? Why am I in this job? It doesn't serve me. I'm stuck. I'm not going anywhere. So there's a lot of questions when I was Googling and insights around how, this whole career moving and switching and whatever. How does someone know they've outgrown a role versus just being unhappy?
The very binary answer to that is like, are you learning or are you earning in this role? If you're learning but not particularly earning very well, it's like, well, that knowledge is going to put you in good stead in another role, so that's good. If you're earning well but you're not learning, but the earning is helping towards your financial goals, that's beautiful. In this market, I would say there's a third section to that, and it's like, are you just enjoying it? Like, you might not be earning as much as you could, you might not be learning as much as you could, but you really like your colleagues, it's convenient, it fits in with your life, and it allows you to go on the holidays that you want to go on every year. Like, learning, earning, or enjoying is enough reason to stay. If you're going into a role every day and you feel as though you're becoming a culture vulture, you're the office mood hoover, you cannot get yourself up for it, you're miserable and you're negging everyone else out, like, sure sign that you need to go. If you're dreading going to work every week beyond the normal Sunday scaries, it's like consuming you, sure sign that you need to change something. But I think if we can cover our basic needs and enjoy it a bit along the way, and you're not doing too bad. It's quite a privilege actually to enjoy your work at the minute. It really is. So.
I think so, because especially right now, I think don't be reckless. Like, it is out there,
I see it, and I hate this trope of I quit my job for the plot. I've got nothing to go
my
at.
God,
like, no, you've definitely got your mum and dad's sofa that you're going to be able to sleep on, or like a 15-bedroom house. Like, please, that is not most people's experience. Like, I'm not a Nepo baby. There is no generational wealth. There is me, and I'm not about to quit my job for the plot.
Same. Oh my God, Izzy, is so true. I'm exactly the same. There's no safety net going. I've never had that, and I think this is something I'm very passionate about. I think coming from a working class, and this is speaking from personal background, coming from a Lancashire working class town, knowing financial safety net, all the love and support, and you can be anything you want to be, you're gifted, you're special, Jo. I had all of that in abundance, no cash, no financial safety net. So I've carried that all my way through, and I think that is what sets us apart a little bit, that we have that tenacity, the grit, the resilience, because there is no other option. There's no one with a silver spoon at the back of me going, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, when people are like,
I'm going to sort it out.
Why are you working on maternity leave, whether that be for the overlap or my own stuff? And I'm like, well, firstly, I want to, so shut up.
Yeah.
And secondly, I actually don't have like a backup plan. Like, I am the plan. So unless you want to pay
and I just love how
fund, let me know.
I just love how honest and transparent you are. Like, this is my plan. This is what I want to do. Like it or like leave. I just love it. I love it. And you are such an inspiration to your children. Can I just that? What mistakes do you think women specifically make when job hunting?
It's that statistic, and I got it wrong last time, so I'm not going to misquote, but about the willingness of a man to apply for a role when they've only got 30% of the skills and experience versus the willingness of a woman who needs like 90% of the skills and experience. Like, I am a case study of time and time again. If you can apply with enough confidence, conviction, and a firm
Mhm.
understanding of your transferable skills and a willingness to say, I don't know this yet, but I will learn, then you actually are a really strong candidate. And I think trying to wait for your perfect, till you're in the perfect position to find the perfect application in this economy is literally career suicide. What you need to be doing is just hedging your bets, figuring out what you're good at and understanding what you can do that moves you laterally or upwards and diagonally based on the skill set that you've got. Like, stop waiting for a carbon copy of the job description, because if you have 100% of the skills and the experience on that job description and you apply and you get the role, you're going to be bored in a minute. You're going to be bored in 1 minute because you're not going to have
Right.
any space for growth. The job description is a barometer. It's not about completing it. It's just ascertaining where you're up to and what you need to do to learn. Like, people hire on potential. They don't want the finished product because they want you to be malleable and moldable to their culture and their way of working. Stop
So
waiting for perfection.
you think be transparent. So you're in an interview process, the whoever HR or the whoever it is in there, and they're like, we want to run this software or be able to run these programs. Can you do that? Would you at that point go, yes, I can do that,
Yeah.
and figure it out later, or be like, what would be your answer in that scenario? Just be completely honest and be like, I can look to do that.
I'll speak from literally the last job I've applied for that I'm in now. So, like, the job description said YouTube monetization experience. I did not have that. It was all around content creation in the YouTube space. But what I did have was 100,000 followers at the time across socials that demonstrated that I can learn anything and I understand the space that we're operating in, the digital world. So I had a whole page on this pitch deck that I wasn't asked to do. On the last slide, it said, I know what you are thinking. I'll share that with people if you want. It said, I know what you're thinking. I don't have YouTube experience, but let me show you what I do have. This, and this, and proven time and time again that having worked in IT hosting, car rental, aesthetic medical devices, a pizza box manufacturer, like an audio branding company, that I can learn a new industry. Yeah. Like, don't you worry about me.
Super agile.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, if you said, can you help launch this software? I'd say I have no direct experience with this software, but what I do have is experience of this, and this. I actually learned this in my own time. It only took me a week. So I know that I can deliver what you need me to do there. It's the confidence and the conviction to be able to say that in such a way that is like, I have a growth mindset. I am able to learn. I am coachable. I am malleable. I am interested, and I will get in and get on.
Yeah, if you're on the other side, because obviously we both interview, and I just find it so endearing going, do you know what? Just that honesty and that transparency. I'd appreciate that.
I like that.
You know what?
I will. Like,
I don't know that software, but do you know what? Can I just grab the name of it, and I'll tell you what, I'm just really interested. You know, and a week later they're like, oh, I've done this and I noticed this and the new version's out, and I just noticed. I'd be like, yes.
Exactly.
So make it work. Interviewing, because I know you've been doing a few things on interviewing, and there's a lot of questions around interviewing at the moment. What would you say instantly weakens someone in interviews?
So many things, but
weakens someone.
Weakens is always centered around preparation. I've never known anyone that gets worse from preparation. I've never known anybody get worse, and yet I know immediately when someone sits down that they have not yet at any point rehearsed out loud an answer to what they might get asked. So I know that someone has sat down and for the first time they're actually thinking about the answer to that question. And there's not really any excuse, particularly with like AI tools, being able to copy a job description, copying the company website, whatever information you've got marketing wise, and saying, what do you think I'm reasonably going to get asked in this role? You need to be able to rehearse that to a mirror, to a friend, to your phone, on video before you sit in the room, because you will be found out immediately if you have not actually spoken it out loud before. And sort of aligned with that, I think people's introductions always show their hand. When someone comes in with a smooth, polished introduction, I think this person is prepared. This person has conviction. They are confident. They are ready. When someone stumbles at the intro, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due for people that are just like really anxious and nervous. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking when it's clear as day that someone has not prepared the simple answer, like, who are you? Tell me about yourself. I'm like, well, this is going to be long, if I'm honest.
And I just think it's that, you know, we don't want chapter and verse. We just want a little bit like, you know, a little bit of interest. Like you've done the basic 101s, like, you know, but I think now it's very much more competitive. So anything that you can do as a little added value, as I said, the tools that we've got now, AI, you know, it's absolutely brilliant. I do it myself. So, you know, I think if you want to speak to someone or you really want to impress someone, deep dive. It's all the information's there. What's the dog? What are they interested in? Gone down on a human level.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I saw that you like dogs. Like, oh yeah, and you went to the da 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 da. I went the other day, and it was just brilliant. And I
Yeah.
noticed at the festival again, it's like, oh my god, this isn't me. It's like I've just totally made that up. But
Yeah.
you're getting down even on a human level, is he? I
Mm.
think.
People will rebuke that and say that is exhausting, I'm burnt out, I don't have the time for that. Right, fair enough, I completely understand, but at the end of the day, you're applying for hundreds of jobs, you're probably getting 10 interviews at the
Yeah.
most. So like that actually requires preparation. What people don't understand, if you do the foundation preparation for all interviews well, who you are, why you're leaving your current role, what you want next, blah 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 blah, those questions travel around with you to all your interviews. So like there's just one big basic piece of work that you have to do when you're in that frame of mind that you're leaving your current job or you're looking for a new role. And then everything on top is like supplementary. It's
Yeah.
not all one big piece of work.
Exactly. You can just not copy and paste, but the foundational work's there, and then any sort of sprinkles of that 1% magic
Yeah.
that you can really stand out. That doesn't take long to do.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't. And I'm being like, I'm trying to be empathetic, but there's so much information. All you have to do is put a couple of prompts in, and it's like she loves dogs, and she's done this or whatever, and she loves like what does she really like in the workplace? She loves ambition. She loves people being ballsy. She loves ideas. That doesn't like how
It's
so
not time consuming, really. It's not.
it's not
No.
it's really not. Salary, and I know you've talked about this, talking about salary and cash and again money. Why are women still under negotiating? Because they are. There's stats and research and insights findings that say women are still massively undercharging, under negotiating, don't understand the value.
We're just
Why?
conditioned all our lives until now to not speak about money. One, you don't speak about money. If you do speak about money, it's crass. Asking for more money is like beggy or like overly confident. So it's literally not our fault. Like we're just a product of society and how we're raised largely. I think companies rely on most people not asking for more money and leaving money on the table. Like they rely on that because they don't anticipate that every single person that tries to get a job is going to negotiate. A large proportion of the women that I know that interview that do negotiate have successful negotiation conversations because they are so capable and they're so qualified for the role. So I think it's like having to learn that when you're negotiating with a hiring manager, for instance, that money is not coming out of their pocket. So what you need to do is like depersonalize, if that's the word, or decenter that money from that person. That is not their money. That might be their budget line or it might be their authority, but it's not coming out of their kids' trust fund. It is literally company money. And I think the more you can sort of dehumanize to an extent the money that you're asking for, the easier those conversations can become. And it's a simple yes or no. It's a long conversation, but if the answer is no, that's just it, Joe. Like, oh, well, it was a no. But like, heaven forbid I don't ask because I'm not leaving money on the table.
And funnily enough, obviously, I know we're talking in a career context now, but we had said John a few weeks ago, and she was saying if you are in any sort of client facing or any service or product, facing scenario and you're dealing with commercials, get yourself negotiation training when it comes to money and you talk the numbers because that investment is critical.
That's probably really good advice, actually.
Yeah. And I was like, who's negotiation trainer? And I spoke to Sedge and I was at an event with her last week and she was like, do you know what? She was like, all of the negotiation in that field are male. She was like, I know one female who will help, talking about figures and commercials and, having those really confident conversations and what to do in certain scenarios. She's like, there's definitely some work to be done there.
Sometimes we can operate, I agree with Sedge completely, sometimes we can operate in an echo chamber when it comes to seeking the advice we need. So we think, oh, well, it's a male thing, males negotiate, so what we need is a woman trainer on negotiation. But in actual fact, what you need, and a large part of like my confidence from negotiating, asking for money comes from speaking to my dad about it. Sometimes you need a man who has that inbuilt bravado that is able to have those conversations. That's the wisdom that we need to impart. That's the allyship that we need to build. It's not always about looking for like-minded people. Sometimes it is someone that, is able to deliver what we can't. They can give us the information that we need. Do you know what I mean?
Because I was talking to, again, another girl, Chrissy, and she was going into investment things and she's like, men just don't think like we do. Like, why are you worried about that? Just ask. Ask. Negotiate on a fig. Like, why are you overthinking it? Like, because we do. Like, we couldn't ask for that. They would never give that. Just ask. Just ask and go from there.
whenever I worry about asking for something or whether I'm capable of doing something, I'm like, would a man in the exact same spot be worrying right now? And if the answer is no, Joe, best believe I'm not going to worry about it anymore. And something that I did say to my dad today actually is like, when it comes to money and negotiation and like knowing your worth and knowing when to walk away, again, considering the fact that people have bills to pay, I understand that I'm not talking about that from a cost of living perspective, but when you're in a position where you could be like, that's not enough, I'm going to stop this process, I'm going to walk away. I honestly think money genuinely comes back around. I hate that. It's empty. It sounds bullshit. But every time I say no to something because it's not worth my time, because they've lowballed me for a public speaking gig, I end up getting a bigger one that was worth more. Or I get a DM in my inbox that's like, and had I took that lesser paid thing, I probably wouldn't even have the capacity to do that. So it's like knowing your worth is really important, but also trusting in not the universe, the evidence that you have that you will get more opportunities similar.
What should people stop saying then in pay rise conversations? So they're in those scenarios, they're wanting more money, they're there, they're at the table. What should they stop saying?
I don't want to hear that Dave is on X, so you should be on. Because Dave's performance bears no resemblance to your worth. Your worth is your own. Your work is your own. I don't give a fuck what Dave's earning. Like, this is about you and your contribution. On the same breath, I don't care. I'm going to preface this. I do care personally, but professionally, I don't care that your cost of living has gone up, that your mortgage is more, that you've had to move out of your parents. Like, that, I feel sorry for you, I really do, but like, that does not warrant a pay rise. And I think we become so wrapped up in what we have to pay for, which is so understandable because it's so much, that we can be like, fuck, I've just had another big bill, my roof's collapsed and my car needs fixing, and we're going to go in and we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to say, Joe, look, I've been here for 10 years, I'm the highest performer in the business, but the reason I'm bringing you today that I need a pay rise is that my roof and my car. And it's like, no, because over here,
I mean, do people actually do that, do you think?
Yeah, like, I've had so many conversations where people are like, just like, my rent's gone up and I need to earn more, like, it's not going to work otherwise. And I'm like, oh, that's so annoying, because actually, and I'm happy to have like a really honest conversation with people, but it's like, yeah, but why don't we talk about your results? Or actually, your results aren't very good, so you're really not in a good position to ask for a pay rise right now, even though your cost of living is increasing. What you need to do is go away and work on that as quickly as possible so that we can have a conversation that's result centric. I think comparison and bringing in your responsibilities is like the worst thing you can do. Just keep it objective, performance, factual, in my opinion.
Yeah, keep it to the numbers, keep it to
what you're doing,
the testimonials that clients are saying, anything that can quantify. You can't really argue with that if you do that. And again, not to piss people off in those environments, is it? I think, you know, if that you have shown that performance and that growth or whatever that looks like, or that success, and they go genuinely, there's just no budget. What would you handle that?
You have to be prepared for a no. You have to understand whether or not the no is just because like you're not being appreciated, or if the no is like we can't afford it, or if the no is like this is a ceiling for this role at this band and that's that. I think I hate when people ask for a pay rise, they're not entitled, they don't get it, whatever, and then they stay and they bitch and whinge. Like, you have to be prepared to leave if you're not going to get the results that you want. So like, plan A, pay rise, plan B, willingness to leave if needs be. And I think like having that exit plan is really important.
Yeah. Reinvention very quickly. Can someone completely reinvent themselves professionally in their 30s and 40s? Like, not even switch jobs and go somewhere else? Can they completely go, I want to be something completely different?
I hate the notion of reinvention. I hate it, because everything that you have done previous to now, whether you decide to go from a teacher to an astronaut, or I don't like whatever, paleontologist to a masseuse, everything you've done here serves you here and vice versa. So the idea that we need to cut off everything that we've done before, an arm and a leg, to be able to transform, we don't need to do that. Like, when I move industry to industry, which is all the time, by the way, I'm not reinventing myself, building from the experience that I've already got into my next thing, even if it's a completely different space, even if it's a completely different profession. So I think we need to move away from the idea of reinvention and start talking about our evolution, because that's really what it is. And like you say, it's not a career crisis. It's not a midlife crisis. Like, we're ready for our next thing. That's beautiful. It's growth.
Yeah.
It's expected.
I love that. You just took the word out of my mouth. It's evolution. So don't scrap everything put in the bin. It's all building blocks. What I am finding is really interesting, and we're probably both doing that as well, as we're calling this labeling the portfolio careers.
I love a portfolio. I've been saying it for years.
I do. I do. And I'm like, this is brilliant. And this has even helped me. Like, when did we have to just stay in one job with one salary for one employer, do this one job? It's like, that is ludicrous.
No.
Open the doors. And you were saying these transferable skills. So obviously I'm doing the Unfiltered Female now. I
Mm-hmm.
love ideation. I love creativity. I love human connections. I do that in the agency where I work. So there's some real similarities. What's your view on portfolio careers?
My view as not an employer is that portfolio careers are the best, most beautiful thing, awakening that a woman can have in particular.
Yeah.
Because they're reserved currently for like old men at the end of their careers, or even older women who are building portfolio careers because they've got 3 or 4 NED roles, a trustee role, and they do some consultancy. I'm not waiting to I might not get there, Joe.
We're not going to wait.
There. I'm not waiting for that. I rebuke that is just for those
I'm
people.
with you.
I
Yeah.
really do. And I think it's beautiful that we're all realising that there is other ways to do things. So as someone that is not an employer, I think they are beautiful. However, from an employer's perspective, they're problematic.
Yeah.
Very few people, I've just met my new boss this week, he can appreciate the fact that with a lot of variety comes a better performer, particularly for someone like me. So the fact that I do different things makes me better at my job. Not only that, but I'm exposing myself to more people. It makes performance better in the business. I think we have to be careful not to take liberties, be very careful to be clear about what work is our own and is ring fenced in this part of our portfolio. What is our job if we're salaried, as you are, like 3 days a week I'm salaried in this job. And we have to be really clear and really honest with ourselves about work creeping into other things. We have to keep it very separate. I'm very disciplined with that. It's black and white. Like, I don't want anyone to ever be able to say that I ever did anything on anybody else's time. Like, I'm a really hard worker. I am diligent, and you're going to get what you pay me for. So I think portfolio careers are beautiful. There's a lot of people talking about them, but their foundation is self-employment. If your foundation is employment, you have to toe a line. And it's the same as what I spoke about LinkedIn earlier. People are giving advice on portfolio careers, but they're not employed by anyone. They might have retainers, you know? So it's like, please tread carefully. It's beautiful. Yeah. They're a beautiful thing. We all deserve them. But make sure you're considering what's even in your employment contract. Like, you need to check that.
We're here talking at 10:30 at night because
I'll be up till 3 in the morning.
How does motherhood change ambition, careers, potential in a work scenario?
I think it's different for everyone. Some women, it makes them realise that they don't care at all about corporate life or any sort of corporate vibration, and they want to stay at home and look after their children. And I love that. I love that for them. That's a great realisation. For some people, me personally, my experience is like, I'm hungrier than ever to earn the most amount of money for the least amount of work. Like, I care in abundance about my free time and how I spend it. I care so much about my time and like my time around my work. But more than that, if I'm going to leave my beautiful children at home or with the childminder or my in-laws, best believe I'm going to have to be enjoying the work that I'm doing. The work has to be worth it as well. So for me, it's just evolved sort of how locked in I am to my time and my value of my time and what I'm willing to charge for my time.
Yeah. I'm quoting Sedge again, but she was like, and I follow Mother Pucker and Jolie, who are all very advocates of working mothers. Yeah, like they're just brilliant. And they real advocate for working mothers. You will not find a more productive, more profitable employee, or you just won't. Like,
but you have to have flexibility in your workplace, because if you don't, you're not going to hire them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So don't underestimate a working mother, or so I'm a real strong believer of that. Why are so many women questioning the idea of having it all, Izzy, in your opinion? Having it all. You can't have it. There's got to be compromises and sacrifices. There's no this idea of having it all, this success on paper and the job title, and they've got the balance and the kids are all happy and well dressed and packed lunches, and that I think is slowly dying, isn't it? Like, that just doesn't exist.
The idea of having it all is exhausting. I don't want it all of the time. I want some of it when I feel like it, and some of it the rest of the time. Yeah. I don't want it all. So I can understand why people are getting wary of this sort of rhetoric. Again, what I would say about me and my personal life is like, today was the first day in many months, where I had a child-free day and a work-free day. Because often my child-free days I spend working for myself, and I'm on maternity leave. So I drove in today and I was feeling a bit blue about that. And then I got into town and I was like, what the hell? This is amazing. Amazing. So I would say the past 12 to 18 months, I have sacrificed probably my me time. I still make a lot of time for my friends, but my time that I like to spend on my own, I've really sacrificed that because I cannot have it all of the time. What I've prioritized is my children and time with my husband and my family and my work, because I'm really enjoying that. I've managed to somehow keep a great roster of friends. They're really patient. But I'm not trying to pursue a spa day every month because I literally don't have time for it. Like, that would be a really nice thing to put on my Instagram story, but I don't even really want it. It'd be quite performative. So I think, like, really, again, just getting into that, what our definition of success actually is, because your all is not the same as my all, Jo. So, like, let's understand that.
Yeah, love that. Right, quick fire round. This is going to be brilliant. One sentence advice, Hazy, because I know you're good at the short, sharp answers.
I'm not today.
You are. Rapid fire. One sentence advice for someone scared to ask for a pay rise.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes. What's the worst that can happen?
What's the best that can happen? That's my answer.
Yes, what's the best that can happen? Someone crying after a work every day.
Look to quit. Act not on emotion, but on caution.
Love that. Someone stuck in a toxic workplace.
Leave on your terms.
Love that. Someone terrified to leave a stable job. Terrified.
There's no such thing as a stable job. You could get sacked. Well, you could get sacked tomorrow. So.
You really could. You really could. Someone constantly who is overlooked.
This is your problem, and you have to start shouting about yourself.
Yeah, you can make the change. Someone returning after maternity leave.
You do not have to earn your space again. It is yours.
Love that. Someone who feels behind on their terms.
I can't say it in one sentence. It's so mean. It's so mean. I
know, it's so mean. I'm like, she's
Find me a person. This is one sentence. Find me a person that has had the same parents, upbringing, school, education, boyfriends, girlfriends, friendships, like experiences, height, eye colour, hair colour, school meals or not school meals, packed lunches or not. Find me someone that is exactly that, and then you can compare them. If you're behind, then you can feel it, but I don't think you'll ever find that person.
Yeah, stop comparison. It is the thief of joy. That's what they say, isn't it? Like, stop comparing. And a woman who's successful on paper, got the title, got the job, goes to all these fancy holidays, but super unhappy.
Strip it back and ask yourself with no ego, where are you most happy, and pursue that.
Izzy, I could talk to you for
all day. We could go all day.
So long. You are just amazing.
And so are you.
Just kudos to you for moments we talked about, about talking about money is cringe, and you get the side eyes and you get the, who does she think she is? I just think we need more of Izzy's in the world who are super hardworking, disciplined, not afraid to roll the sleeves up, but ask for that reward at the same time. I think we need to have more conversations around that. I'm with you in that camp.
Agreed.
I'm with you when I said if we were in the same place, I would certainly want you on my team, because we would just completely take over the world. I just think you've got a great attitude, and it's fantastic. And for any woman listening to this episode, Izzy, you could just remember one thing from all of the things we've talked about career advice and how to handle certain things. What would be the one thing in a career aspect? What would you want her to take away from this? Just one piece of advice.
I beg you to sit down with yourself or sit down with future you and define what your own version of success looks like, because that relates to everything we've talked about today. Money, negotiation, when to leave, when to stay, who to trust, who not to trust. You have to ascertain what your metric for success or metrics are first before you can address anything else in your career. I really feel passionate. That's the starting point.
And that's super practical as well. That's a really easy exercise to do, isn't it? What's really helpful for me is, would the 80-year-old Joe and the 5-year-old Joe, would they be proud? And it's a constant benchmark for me all the time, going, no, I'm going to send that pitch deck. I'm going to try and get hold of that woman, and what's the worst that can happen? So that is my own personal benchmark, which is super, super helpful.
We fear rejection, but we're rejecting ourselves when we don't put ourselves forward. So it's like, who do you want to reject? Like, I'd rather someone else do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to let myself
Izzy, you are so amazing. Thank you so much
for having me.
Please go and have just some rest, and hopefully you're not great. And I hope we actually meet in person as well one day. I would love that.
I've got an event coming up on Tuesday.
You do, with Steph. Just want to tell us quickly about that, because
it's just going to be a gorgeous event. I'm just checking the date.
Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday the 9th.
Yeah, it's 9th of June. Is it the 9th of June with Steph?
till 8:30
Yeah.
p.m. Ezra and Gil, the Northern Quarter one. So we've got Claudia Cardinale, who is just insane personal
Oh,
brand
I love
expert.
Claude.
Yeah, Claude. And then we've got Emily Moffat, who works for Fearless Adventures for Don McGregor. So she's going to do like a talent masterclass on like how to position yourself in the market. And then there's Steph and I, and we're going to collate everyone's questions and do a big corporate Q&A.
I love that. So that is 9th. Is it the 9th of June?
Season 5. Bye.
Bye-bye.